The star object is our Creole dress, and that really tells you the mix of people because it kind of tells you the story of the Creoles in fabric. So this wonderful attire is called kabaslot, and the little bag is called kotoku. Now, it's kind of a combination of Victorian, you know, the petticoat underneath. You might recall or seeing pictures of Victorian women with the dresses and long petticoats and lots of layers. Another important thing on this attire is the slippers. They're Victorian slippers called carpet slippers. For obvious reasons, they actually look like a carpet. They are made of tapestry wool and sewn, a special art that Creole women do, and it's a dyeing art. So we need to teach the young how to continue to mark the carpet. That's what it's called when you're sewing and embroidering it, and it's then made into a shoe.
This photograph here was taken by Peter C. Anderson, and it's an aerial view of Bunce Island. So Bunce Island was actually the first place where the British were involved in Sierra Leone. So around the 1670s, a fortress was set up there by traders, and it eventually became a notorious slave fortress. So enslaved Africans were held there before being carried across the Atlantic. When the slave trade was abolished, Bunce Island was used for a while to hold liberated Africans. So there was what was known as a liberated African yard, and recruiters and people from the British government would come into the yard and try and select people to work on public works projects. Representatives from the army would also come there to try and influence liberated Africans to join the West India Regiment or the African land forces that were in place at that time. So this tillet block is one of many that we actually have in the collection at Museum of London. This particular one was produced by R.W. Ledger & Co. around 1800, and it bears the crest of the Sierra Leone Company. So the Sierra Leone Company were involved in the second attempt to colonise Sierra Leone, which started in 1792, and involved about 1,200 Nova Scotians who came down from Canada and asked to be resettled in Sierra Leone at that time. The block would have been used like a stamp to stamp coarse tillet cloth that wrapped finer cloth that was used for export. The block features the crest of the Sierra Leone Company, so you can see a ship here, how a representation of one of the merchants, even with his watch hanging down from his waist, and how then they would have represented someone from Africa. So you can see the figure of the African here on the block as well. Thank you very much for listening. I really hope that you found it interesting, and I hope that you come to visit the display at Museum of London Docklands. It's open until the 27th of September 2020, so you've got lots of time to come along.